this edition of Poker Strategy, Card Player TV caught up with 2010 North American Poker Tour Los Angeles runner-up Krista Maci to discuss an important concept for intermediate players: getting thin value.
Thin value is when you bet a hand, usually in position, like on the river, with a hand that's generally worse than top pair, and it basically just comes down to your hand reading ability. Most people in the early stages of tournaments, they play like the suited Broadway and suited connectors and stuff, and they end up making like mid pairs and stuff a lot. And when you isolate raise in position, they generally just put you on like ace king, like always. And when you have a hand like, you know, that's something that dominates them, like king 10 or something like that, and it comes like, you know, queen 10 deuce, you can often get two streets of value with like a flop bet, a turn check, and a river bet when they just think you like miss and try to pick it up with the end.
So thin value means stepping away from the beginner strategy of betting only very strong hands, or on the other end of the spectrum, hands with little to no showdown value. We asked Maci why this is important against good opponents.
Well, the first thing is people don't realize like how many chips you like really pick up like in these situations, and against people who are like really stubborn and kind of like understand what you're doing, you can often get like 3 streets of value from them. And then if your table is like still going for a long time, you don't break, you set up a lot of plays like down the road where you're never polarized, and the more advanced opponents, not just the beginning opponents who are paying you off, the more advanced opponents have a way harder time like reading where you're at.
So remember, as you become more comfortable reading hands and situations, try to mix in some thin value bets to make yourself harder to play against.